What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 504 of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast. Hot tags of the week. I am very much in my radio voice, it seems. I don't know why that's happening, but I am your host as always, Tony Mango, and joining me as always is Robert DeFelice.
Now, Tony, I haven't done one of these with just you in like 3 weeks, so it feels weird. I've been apart from you for this long.
It's
separation anxiety.
Reunited. Yeah, we're gonna do the usual shtick here. We're gonna run down some TV talk. We're gonna talk about AEW Fight for the Fallen. Sasha Banks is back, and yes, she did turn heel. Or at least that's how I'm interpreting it. We are gonna run down Raw, SmackDown, whatever kind of stuff we want to talk about. We're gonna talk about financials because you're clicking here to hear about quarterly reports and everything, right?
Earnings. Oh, we're gonna talk about things that were said on the financial call. We're not gonna talk about money.
Well, there goes half my notes. I mean, I'm sitting there going to talk about campaign finance reform, and
I imagine that you're very concerned about the number of eyeballs that they constantly referenced on these calls.
Well, I do know that having a little robot floating around the screen is going to just bring in like millions of viewers, right?
So many eyeballs, Tony, because you see robots, the kids can relate to it.
The robots, they're popular these days. There's that Shia LaBeouf movie, right? Imagine that's the scenario going on where it's like GoBots, you know?
Oh, that's good.
What was it that was recent? There was something that all the jokes were from. Oh, the Space Jam thing, where all the jokes are from like 2001.
Yeah, it was Space Jam. It's like, oh, kids will relate to Casablanca.
Yeah, those kids today's with that fresh new movie, The Matrix.
I mean, Granny's doing The Matrix. You kids understand that? What's The Matrix?
And the Eminem rap battle with Hampton, or not Hampton. Hampton's the young one. Porky Pig.
The Porky, yeah.
Hampton's better. We're not talking about Tiny Toons for this whole thing, but Tiny Toons would be better. So
the only thing Tiny Toons and wrestling have in common, Tony, is the scripts were rejected. Expect the unexpected. Because here we go.
Maybe there's a deleted scene where it's, what's up, Doc Gallows? Did you miss these terrible jokes, everybody? So, you know how we usually do things here. This is a rundown of the news and the rumors and gossip and other things in the world of pro wrestling that we talk about every single week. I have to get that through, or else I'll feel like there's like an OCD trigger where I'd be like, I didn't say it. But we've done 504 of these. So let's just get into some of these. Remember to drop your comments below. Tell us your thoughts on everything. Like, follow, favorite, subscribe. Ring that little notification bell, donate to the Patreon, donate to the members only side of things, get access to the Darkcasts. I don't know when the next Darkcast is going to be, but we're going to, record a bunch of them down the line. And we've got some stuff that is up on the TeePublic and Redbubble if you want to pick up some merchandise. And also there's that little tip jar of the applause button. So monetary wise, those are ways to help us out. If you don't have the spare change, you just want to like the video and share and follow and all the other kind of things like that. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Anyway, plugs out of the way. Plugs temporarily. If you want to check out that Space Jam thing, go to fanboysanonymous.com and check out everything that's happening there.
Sean Ross Sapp muted me on Wednesday because I said Space Jam was terrible.
It was terrible.
It really was.
Absolutely terrible. And we did a fan tracks of it where we were stunned at how bad it was. So if you are interested in that, I recommend checking out the fan tracks and watching that at the same time rather than just watching the movie on your own, because I think you're going to get more out of it just by us making fun of how bad it is.
There is one thing, and for the life of me, I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but we both went, oh, that was good. That was actually a good joke.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it was like one joke.
So there you go. You're not coming for jokes. You're coming for Big Chungus. And you stay for the joke.
Yeah. So check out stuff like that over on fanboysanonymous.com and the Review to a Kill series about the James Bond franchise. And look at that. Most of the plugs are out of the way. Anyway, on the WWE side of things, the AEW side of things, pro wrestling stuff, where do you want to start? You want to start with TV stuff, or do you want to go with financials?
So let's start with a big one because I'm sure you didn't hear the financial call because you have much, much better things to be doing with your time right now. So, on the financial call, somebody genuinely asked about AEW and how they feel about, the competition. And Vince McMahon, who they've been limiting his speaking time on these, says it's certainly not a situation where it's rising tides because Ted Turner was coming after us with all the Time Warner assets as well. That was a different situation. AEW is where they are. I don't really know what their plans are. All I know is where our plans are. Good so far, right? I don't consider them competition in the way that I considered WCW competition back in the day. Not even close to that. Good so far. I'm not so sure where their investments are as far as their talent are concerned. Perhaps we could give them some more.
Vince is a madman, and as much as we criticize, and rightfully so, criticize a lot of the things that goes on with everything like that, there's moments like that where it just kind of goes, I kind of love the guy.
I love him. Because, to be fair, okay. So maybe he's saying, you know, perhaps we can provide more insight later on down the line or whatever. But the idea of him going, I don't know, maybe we'll give them some more people we don't want. That's funny to me. That's Vince McMahon being like, yeah, sure, take them. What am I going to do with Mark Henry? I like that, Vince. Keep that Vince with a microphone on at all times because he'll just say whatever he wants.
I commend him for it, because if you're gonna be doing what you're doing lately, where you're just firing a bunch of people and morale is low and all that, you might as well be full blown megalomaniac. you know.
Yeah, I mean, because who's to say that he's not just saying, I'm not worried about them. Of course, Nick Khan got up there, was like, oh, if I could just jump in here and look, we're focused on ourselves, and our competition is sleep. Because if we had our way, we would be able to work 24 hours a day, and people would be watching content from different content providers 24 hours a day. It's like, first of all, the word content now makes me vomit.
Oh, it's a sickening kind of feeling.
And it's like, I want more of Vince. Vince seems like he's in a place where he's grumpy, he's kind of old, I want more Vince talking.
The other side of the financial calls, the only thing that I had read other than that was, of course, hey, we're doing record numbers. Also, they got rid of a couple more people and they might fire more.
Yep. And that was a report from Fightful Select. Please subscribe today, as that helps the team over at Fightful.com, which is where I work. Hey, look at that. Another plug out of the way.
So they released Canyon Seaman.
Yes.
Seaman?
No, it's Seaman. They let go of the Seaman.
And who's the other one? I'm blanking on who the other one was now.
So there was a lot of unnamed. They work in marketing or whatever. They did release Canyon. I'm trying. They released Carano a while ago. He was the main talent relations guy.
That was right after the trash bag incident, right?
Yeah, that was apparently they blamed him for the trash bag incident.
And then there was the whole thing about his wife saying that he was trying to get fired and
no, that he hid belts underneath his bed in the guest house.
We never got any kind of follow-up for that, did we?
Nope.
It's just no. It's a thing, I guess. Kind of, maybe. It might not be. So with more firings, that becomes more. I guess they're just gonna keep doing this. And hey, look at that. We made X amount of money more because we just keep firing everybody. And I still think that there's a sale.
Think it feels like there's a sale, right? One of the things Nick Khan said was the major focus financially for them is going to be international rights, scripted and unscripted series, because they announced that they're doing a scripted United States versus Vince McMahon show.
What? United States versus Vince? What do you mean? Like the
They're
trial?
doing a show on the steroid trial. Yeah,
And it's not going to be like a documentary thing?
it's gonna be like the People versus O.J. Simpson. You ever watch that?
Oh, I love that. That was great.
That's gonna be like that.
But it's not going to be by the same people.
It's gonna be by Bloomhouse Entertainment, and it will be
Blumhouse?
overseen or Blumhouse, sure.
The
And
horror people? What?
yep.
I got to check that out.
So, well, hold on. Now I got to read you the press release and all the stuff that they were saying, because there's certain things in this that do kind of make you scratch your head. Like, for example, they flat out say, "Oh, Vince McMahon, who's a TV bad guy, as you would remember him, will be the good guy in this story." They flat out say he will be the good guy in this story. Per the show's logline, with his liberty at stake, 2 school-aged children at home, and with WWE on the brink of bankruptcy. None of this is true. Right off the bat, none of this is true. Ultimately, McMahon stood trial and was acquitted unanimously by a jury of his peers and went on to build a multi-billion-dollar global sports entertainment empire. McMahon's son Shane was in college and occasionally working behind the scenes. Stephanie was in high school.
So they're going to be like bright-eyed 8-year-olds like, Daddy, are
Yeah,
we going
right?
to be okay?
Schoolhouse.
Well, goddamn, Steph. I want to know when this is coming out. I need to see this for sure.
Yeah. So it doesn't even have a writer yet. So if you want to throw your name in the hat, you know.
Oh my god, I would love to write something like this. This seems absolutely insane.
And then I was listening to, I think it was Cornette, and his co-host was like, I wonder if they'll have Alpha, who apparently, realistically, during the trial, Alpha or Sika, maybe it was Sika, maybe that's what Roman gets the push he does, was mouthing to the jury, not guilty.
I want to see that scene. I want to see this movie so bad. Or is it a series or a movie?
It's probably going to be the Netflix series.
I totally want
Remember
to see
they
this.
said that they're going to do something on Netflix? It's probably going to be that.
No, I'm blanking on that.
It's probably going to be that. That's so fucking funny. And then Blumhouse is like, we have a dramatic, riveting saga. One that's crazier than fiction. That will appeal to the, follow me here, Tony, the cross-section of Blumhouse and WWE fans. Is there a cross-section? What does Blumhouse do?
The horror stuff.
Yeah, so is there a cross-section?
Kane fans?
And would it be satisfied by way of United States versus Vince McMahon? Is Vince gonna like start hacking up the jurors?
It might be.
Happening here? Like,
maybe Afa Rasika is gonna mouth not guilty or I'll kill you.
They're gonna legitimately shrink heads.
Yeah. I'd be down for watching that too. So.
I'm so down for this. Like legitimately, it's widely known and accepted. Vince, this is one of the few times in history where, like, yeah, they were just trying to pile on Vince. They had nothing, and they did what they could, and that's why they're running with this story first because it makes Vince look good. But even then, it's like, my God, you're gonna start fabricating things immediately and saying his school-age children when one of them was in college, you know, adult. Like, what?
If anybody finds out more information about this, definitely let us know. If they get like casting or something, because I'm really curious who would play Vince as well.
All right, so it's 1994 Vince. So it's like prime new generation era Vince. Who would you have play him?
So you got to have somebody in their like 40s. I don't know. I don't know many actors off the top of my head that could really play that part. Because I had thought that the Liam Neeson thing was an interesting idea before, but it doesn't play with that sort of scenario, and that's too old.
How old is Christopher Walken right now?
Yeah, so that's those are things happening.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
The other stuff with the financial calls, anything else?
Not that I cared to retain, at least.
All right, well then let's move on to another thing here. Let's move on to I guess we only have TV talk really, because we can kind of factor everything else in with TV stuff.
Now,
Or is there anything else that I'm blanking on?
I was gonna say Natty being hurt, but perhaps we can just factor that into TV. Would you allow Jason Bateman to play him?
Jason Bateman, maybe.
I think I
I
could
don't
live with
know.
Jason.
I don't know.
I'd have to see it.
Oddly enough, yeah, for some reason, I was thinking maybe somebody like a Jason Sudeikis even.
Patrick Dempsey. He's got the hair
Ooh,
for it.
that might be a good option.
You know what? If they can get Patrick Dempsey, I think they'll have a good one.
This is if this even happens.
Oh, it's gonna happen. They announced it. They wouldn't have announced it if it wasn't gonna happen.
Well, I mean, think about what DC does.
Well,
We're
talking
supposed to
about
have had
WWE.
like 8 Nightwing movies by now. You know,
We're talking about WWE. WWE is Marvel, pal.
Yeah, let's talk about some TV stuff here. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. One of them being Natty's injured.
Natty's injured.
So that
How
sucks.
you feel about that?
They of course didn't do their feud that they were building for Dana Brooke and
Dana
Mandy
Brooke's
Rose.
maybe pregnant.
Maybe there's no confirmation about it, but it seems like
There was
that's
that
kind of going
weird
around.
thing that was floating on social media. Who knows?
So that's kind of curious. And she hasn't been seen since Mandy Rose goes over to NXT. So, you know, but obviously we don't know.
I am of the opinion that they need to scrap the fucking tag titles.
Yeah.
It is nothing against women's wrestling. It is nothing like that.
That's all how WWE's handled it.
Here's where we're at right now, Tony. It's been 2.5 years since they introduced these titles. And in 2.5 years, they went from having a large group of teams and singles competitors to barely enough for just 2 separate rosters of singles competitors.
They almost didn't have enough for Money in the Bank.
And on top of that, the belts originally had the added benefit of having NXT be able to be interspliced, right? Then they said, fuck that. And they created NXT Tag Team Championships for women. And then, Tony, I want you to think about this. There have been 4 NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, correct?
Already? 4? Yeah.
Why are 3 of them already disbanded?
Because. That's why. Because.
Well, then why should you get rid of the women's tag titles? Because.
Or the alternative is, yeah,
Terrible.
so they don't have anything really seemingly going on with that they could have gotten around. I mean, like they started doing this thing with Nox and Shotzi. I had to take a second for that because the last time around I ended up doing the Nazi thing. But let me specify just in case anybody takes that out of context. Doing the Nazi thing is, we had said before, we're going to eventually end up mixing Nox and Shotzi and saying Nazi and Shocks. And it ended up happening. There is no other Nazi thing. Yeah, it was like the second episode or something. Just Nazi and damn. So hopefully we don't hear like Greg Hamilton do that at some point. They could have done something with them if they would have known ahead of time with that. Obviously, they don't know ahead of time when somebody's going to get injured. But they kind of just didn't even do anything with that. They keep bouncing around here with Nia and Shayna. And I'm assuming at this point, because Eva Marie and Doudrop lost that match. And, oh, yeah, that's another thing. This is just a stupid little side thing. But I guess now there's some kind of an edict of if you're going to have a non-title match, you're going to refer to it as a contenders match. you notice that was the thing?
Yeah, but because AEW calls them champion, what do they call
Eliminators
them?
or something? No, wait,
Yeah,
that wasn't that.
championship eliminators.
Oh, those are the tournaments, aren't they?
No, they call that for the regular matches as well.
Hmm.
Because it's like, you know, it's your. If you win, you get a title shot. If not, you're like eliminated from immediate competition.
So even Maria and Doudrop, you've got Nox and Shotzi, you've got Naya and Shayna. That it?
Yeah.
I guess that's it. So one of these teams is probably going to have to win a vacant championship because.
Nope. Because Natty is only supposed to be out for a few weeks.
Oh, really? I was
And
assuming she was going to be out for a couple months.
we won't know officially until Monday night, but she's not scheduled to miss any time, according to Dave in the Observer.
Oh, that's great then. No, then they'll just ignore it for a couple of weeks. We'll get like Tamina in a singles match here and there, and you know, I didn't expect that this tag team title was going to be defended at SummerSlam anyway. So I don't think they're going to be really missing out on a whole lot. It's unfortunate, of course. Obviously, you don't want any of this to happen, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Then I thought she was going to be out for like
Well, we'll
2-3
see.
months,
No, that's what Dave says, and that's like the way that she's alluding to things.
and then he
But
can
you
say
never
plans
know.
changed.
Well, he said that about Adam Page on AEW.
We'll talk about that too. Maybe we'll do AEW last out of this bunch.
Yeah, we should, because I haven't gotten your opinion on that.
Any other stuff happened on Raw? Veer beat Drew McIntyre by DQ, or is the other way around?
It's yeah, you're right.
That was weird. That whole thing. Introduce a chair, then that gets factored in. Reginald retained the 24/7 title.
We got to talk about Reginald, but I'll wait till SmackDown to do it.
Yeah, I don't think anything else really happened, right?
Bobby Lashley shattered the hopes and dreams of the Hurt Business and all that loved them. And Karrion Kross beat Keith Lee. I want to hear your opinion on Karrion Kross on Monday Night Raw.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing either.
So, rumored, I can't say purportedly because of all the people that have reported it, I don't fully trust. But Jeff Hardy supposedly tested positive for COVID, and he was not on Raw. If that is the case, for obvious reasons. He was apparently supposed to beat Cross again.
What? Why?
So, Andrew Zarian of the Matt Men podcast said the idea is Cross loses, he brings in Scarlett, who helps him get in winning ways. Now, Jim Cornette, second time I'm referencing him tonight, said, yeah, I could see that happening because that's a Vince idea. As soon as he heard about Cross losing, he said, I guarantee you Vince is probably thinking, we'll bring him in and he'll suck, and then Scarlett will come and get him on the right track because she's the key to victory. Looks like that might have been where they were going. Now, you gotta understand something, Tony. I'm cool with that, in theory. I think that that's in Austin theory, yes. I'm very cool with that idea. Except for one tiny detail, Tony. NXT is a 2-hour program on prime time on the exact same network as Monday Night Raw.
That they advertise for and that they want crossover. And if you're watching NXT, you're watching Raw.
And why on earth is Cross not the same guy?
It's got to be some kind of internal thing where it's just like it triggers that. Well, he's not a WWE guy, kind of fight or flight,
I think the Scarlett thing makes sense. I can see Vince being into the, Scarlett. Okay, she's the star, pal. We'll book her to be the reason he wins, and then she'll get over, he'll get over. Again, it's good in theory, except there's no synergy on the USA Network.
I'm also curious why he sacrificed Lee twice in a row.
That's annoying.
And
I got nothing for that.
he says that he is going to tell everybody what's been going on, but to give him another couple
Some
weeks.
time to figure out how to do it.
At this point, I'm just getting a little bit annoyed, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's kind of the prevailing opinion that I've heard. It's just like at this point, it's almost like I don't want to say "Boy Who Cried Wolf," but
No,
it's
but it's
getting those
something similar.
vibes.
It's kind of
It's
like
getting those vibes of like, man, just say it, whatever it is.
at first it was like, okay, well, there's probably something serious going on. Like maybe there's like a family issue or something. And then that's
And
nobody
maybe,
else's
and
business.
maybe there is. Like we still don't know
Right.
what he's going to say.
But somebody had a comment that I thought was really like summed it all up. It was like, dude, hopefully everything's okay. But at the same time, either talk about it or stop. Stop teasing people. Because everything just becomes, we'll talk about it at some point. And it's like, well, unless it ends up being like, I'm under contract and I can't say this and now I'm gone.
That's what I'm thinking. They probably need to make sure he's like, I want to give my fans an explanation, but maybe he can't. Who knows?
I hope there's nothing bad going on, obviously, because Keith Lee's one of the guys I want to be like, I want him to win the Royal Rumble and win the World Championship at WrestleMania, you know?
Keith Lee made Brock Lesnar say, "Who is this motherfucker?" Like that's how impressive Keith Lee is.
I also want his theme song.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really like that he lost again.
I don't like Cross doing the Lex Luger forearm gimmick.
Yeah, it was better with Luger. At least he had a reason.
Yeah, because he had the fucking steel plate. I was like,
Bionic
okay,
forearm.
I understand that. Like, you can work with that.
And it seems Cross is going to work Samoa Joe at TakeOver.
Yeah, I didn't get your opinion on that either. How do you feel about that?
Very, very glad that Samoa Joe's back.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
So, I mean, just him coming back in general was really good, but the fact that he's able to wrestle and he got cleared, awesome. He might as well win because Cross isn't going to stay in NXT.
Yeah, he should win, and he should help bring NXT back a little bit. Because I was trying to explain this to Callum last week. NXT very much feels like ECW in that 94, 95 is great. By the time you get to 98, you're kind of like, blooms off the rose. And then it's like towards the end, it's just not a product worth watching. And NXT to me is in this phase of like, I think the blooms off the rose for me, where it doesn't feel as strong. And a lot of it's not their fault. I'm not saying like NXT just stopped being good. Like there are very clear reasons for why it happened, but NXT has been better, and I hope it gets back to those days.
We got some other breakout tournament stuff. Carmelo Hayes beat Josh Briggs. Dakota Kai turned to Raquel Gonzalez. That's right, that happened.
Yeah, remember I said that all the teams were breaking up?
Yeah. And that's just a logical way of going about things. We didn't have a whole set number one contender. Eventually, it's going to be Frankie Monet down the line, but we needed to do, as if I'm involved. If I was involved, a lot of things would be different. Dakota Kai needed to turn on Raquel at some point, and they've got TakeOver coming up. So that's the best possible match that they could do. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think the match will be great. I just wish, it didn't have to happen so soon.
You think we're getting Cole and O'Reilly in like a loser leaves town match?
I've been pitching Loser Leaves Town for Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa for like 3 years now. I'm tired, man.
Yeah.
I think they just fight in. I think Callum said a 2 out of 3 falls match, and I said sure, and the third fall will be that Ambrose Asylum cage.
I mean, I'm down for watching them wrestle again. Like, no matter what, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, good things are good, and that's one of them.
NXT UK, nothing stands out from me. I don't remember anything happening from that.
Well, they booked an Iron Man match for next week between A-Kid and Jordan Devlin. And Pretty Deadly came out, and they said, yes, boy! I think. That's a thing, right? Don't they say that?
Do they? I'm blanking on that.
Yeah, that's their thing. They go, yes, boy! Look, I probably pay more attention to NXT UK than any of you, and it's
I've
not a
been
bad show.
I've been focused way too much more on trying to get Peacock to sort out the 3 o'clock to 3:10 angle because I'm
That's
trying to
insane to me, Tony.
hashtag Tony Mango fixes America. Add it to the list. I literally have on my Evernote a thing that says how to fix the world's problems.
Why?
It's a list because it's like, all right, I'll fucking do it. Like, yeah.
That's funny.
So SmackDown, we got a couple of things that are interesting. We had some shenanigans with the contract signing because Finn Balor had done this whole thing with John Cena, or not with John Cena, with Roman Reigns. John Cena challenges Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns says no. Finn Balor comes out and goes, "What about me?" Roman Reigns says, "Yup." This is short end with the whole thing. And this week they did a contract signing. Baron Corbin ends up attacking Finn Balor and tries to sign a contract. And then John Cena comes out, signs it. It's not how contracts work, but it's WWE, so whatever.
Yeah, legal documents don't work that way. You also shouldn't sign contracts in
Like Blue Sharpie or
Blue
whatever it was.
Sharpie. Yeah,
Yeah.
like. And by the way, Tony, you're handling a lot of paperwork right now, are you not? How many of it is actually like, sir, we need you to be here and sign paperwork? Do you not just docu-sign everything?
Oh, DocuSign is. We sound like we're heading into a plug for DocuSign. DocuSign's so much easier. If you want to check. No, it's just why not? I mean, it's 2021. I was gonna say it's 2012. Might as well be. And yeah, I really don't want to start doing a plug for a DocuSign.
No, but like I'm not even like that's the way it's done. How like John Cena's writing Cena and Sharpie like he's a 5-year-old kid who just started on his first day of school. Like what's happening here? And why is Finn Balor even here? Like you didn't need this step, Tony. You didn't need this step.
The
Everybody
roundabout
knew.
detour to get to that point. He could have just
Yeah,
accepted it.
because it's like you could have just accepted the challenge, and then Reigns looks like a badass, and then Cena can just cut promos on Reigns and vice versa.
Which
Well,
apparently it's just dick jokes.
Well, missionary, you know, and the big dog doesn't get down like that, or so we're told. And
So,
John Cena had a great line of, "If you can find somebody who can make missionary entertaining for 20 years, please keep them." Which, fair enough.
you know what I found funny when I was watching this contract signing? They keep using the same tabletop.
Yeah.
What is up with that tabletop? It's just like if somebody had leftover glue residue. That's an ugly tabletop, and I don't know why they've been using this for like 15 years.
They got it on sale at IKEA.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's one of those like Schurkenflogen or whatever things. They're all named weird things.
That is totally the way it would be named at IKEA.
Good meatballs, though.
Great meatballs.
So that happened.
Plug for IKEA either, but yeah.
Yes. So if you want to check out IKEA meatballs, this is not related necessarily to SmackDown, but I showed Caroline the footage of. I had mentioned two of my favorite things that Rey Mysterio's ever done. I mentioned the lawn dart
and the Jack Swagger.
And no, not Swagger. The Big Show baseball bat swing with the stretcher.
Oh,
I showed her those two clips. She's just like, Jesus God, like. She's like, why are those the two things that you said that you remember the most about Rey Mysterio? I'm like, oh, they're just
Swagger
memorable.
is also good, but he's just dragging him with the ankle lock.
So he beats Jimmy Uso. You said you wanted to mention something about Reginald.
All right. So Reginald, 24/7 champ. He fought Chad Gable. Otis came, DQ. Reginald flips. That's going to be the crux here. He flips. But after SmackDown, Tony, the WWE digital exclusive, he revealed that he is not French. And he is a con man who just answers ads and wanted to get his foot in the door at WWE. That Carmella had, I'll read you the quote. "Look, I'm not from France. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I've been a fan of WWE my entire life. I saw Carmella posting that she needed a sommelier. I thought, I can do that. But she wanted me to speak French and have a French accent. I'm like, if I need to do this, I certainly can. But that was never the goal. The goal was to get a foot in the door, and now I'm the 24/7 champion. Shouldn't that have been on TV? Like,
Maybe it will be.
the man is a con man.
It's like, Reginald Thomas, if that is your real name.
Oh, and he's just Reggie now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Wasn't his name Thomas?
It was Reginald Thomas.
That's so good.
But people can't have two names. So eventually Zelina is not going to have Vega. Eventually Bianca is just going to be Belair, whatever it might be. Reginald did that. Later on, we got some stuff with Seth Rollins and talking about that whole feud with Edge and everything.
That's good. They need to fight in an ODQ. I'm very adamant about that. That should be like some kind of stipulation match.
I'm up for that. I think Nakamura is going to be the next in line for the Intercontinental Championship after pinning
Cesaro.
Apollo Crews. Well, Nakamura got the pin.
Well, Nakamura pinned him. Okay, so yeah, Nakamura, sure.
And we got the return of Sasha Banks.
Great stuff.
I was surprised about this. She comes down, she helps out Bianca fight off Carmella and Zelina. And I was thinking, okay, she's just going to attack her now.
Nope.
Set up a tag team match. They have a full tag team match. They end up winning. And then she attacks her.
I understand this. Get your money's worth.
Yeah, try to milk it for as much as you can. I'd probably make the same call.
Sasha.
Yeah.
Because they want to see her wrestle. They haven't seen her wrestle since Mania.
I think that was probably the best way to do it. So hats off to them for pulling that off. Obviously, there's no confirmation right now of that match, but it's going to happen.
And was actually like, please get her off me. Like, she showed fear.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
Maybe if Sasha laughs, she could get like 9 matches out of that.
Well, she was laughing during the beatdown, so you never know.
Yeah, so we're going to get that match. And we all figured that was going to happen anyway, but this is a good way about...
I think Sasha should win.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I do think that Bianca should retain, but then again, I want my Naomi thing, Yeah.
The only way, actually, that would be one of the ways I would take Sasha not winning is if you're going to give me Naomi. Because I think Sasha should win, and we should get a rubber match. That should be like a Iron Woman.
Because Extreme Rules is following this, right?
Whatever. At Madison Square Garden on September 10th. It doesn't have to be on pay-per-view. But, like, just give me Sasha and Bianca and an Iron Woman.
Iron Woman. If nobody gets the joke, check back in the Moonraker review.
No, don't check back at the review. Just check back on everything after we realized that it penetrated our brain.
A review to kill. So much was fun. And then there's AEW. Before we move on to the AEW thing, is there anything else that I'm missing as far as like any kind of like trademarks or kind of nonsense?
I didn't get your opinion on them trademarking. Complaining isn't conversation.
I think I might have talked about that last week. I don't remember for sure.
Well, you might have, but I talked about it with Callum, and you plugged in your thoughts.
So, if I remember correctly, my original thoughts were maybe it's just going to be like a John Cena slogan.
Oh, I'm of the opinion that it's Bray Wyatt.
Apparently, he lost a lot of weight. Did you see pictures of that?
I've been seeing Bray Wyatt looks great. Headlines. I just haven't clicked on the picture. What do you think?
Good for him.
I mean, he looks real good, kind of.
Yeah, from the one picture that I saw, it looked like he lost quite a bit of weight. So that's definitely healthier for him. Unless it's like obviously something bad, but I don't think that's the case when you're smiling at a picture and just being like, yeah, it lost a lot of weight. But maybe that's the reason why he's been gone. Maybe he just like was just like, yeah, I'm gonna take some time, lose a little bit of weight.
Maybe Harris doesn't want to be so husky.
They really should just like factor that in a little bit more. Just play around with it.
Yeah.
I mean, Jericho might be Lionheart next week.
Oh, I have thoughts. But before I get into thoughts, Tony, let's break down Dynamite.
So I actually want to jump to the end of Dynamite.
You want to go straight to the end of Dynamite?
Fight for the Fall, and I want to talk about our no DQ, no holds barred. What did they classify? No rules match.
No rules. There's no rules.
Chris Jericho against Nick Gage. Now I have not watched almost anything related to Nick Gage before this, but I had heard about the name, and I checked out a little bit of the Zack Ryder thing. So I was excited for this, and I thought that this was a lot of fun. Of course, I'm sitting there going, "This is the guy with the pizza cutter. Something's going to happen with this," and I find this hilarious. So, in at least some markets, they went to a commercial break.
In my market, at least,
right after the pizza cutter spot, and the commercial
picture.
Yeah, picture in picture, even better. The commercial was Domino's, and it was literally a shot of somebody cutting a pizza.
A guy using a pizza cutter.
So it's not even like, oh, Domino's, here we are delivering our pizzas or something. And now, as a response from that, one of their spokeswomen, Jenny Ferracri Pitko, about butchering that name, she told Fox Office Sports, "We share the concerns expressed about this incident and the content of this TV 14 rated program and are assessing our advertising presence on it going forward."
God, you couldn't just say, "We're not happy. We're teasing pulling ads because we're not happy."
Yeah, it's basically like corporate speak for the fuck. Out of all the times in the whole night to do it, not even like during the match, with like after a light tube spot, it's after a pizza cutter thing. It's perfect. This is brilliant. I absolutely love that. Even more so just after watching this. I thought it was a fun match and everything, but that makes it even better.
You know what? We had a good laugh on it on the Fightful show. We were like, it's hysterical. What product placement? Using a pizza cutter. Hey, do you feel like Domino's? First of all, it should have been Papa John's because they work with Shaq. And like it should have been. But now Domino's is like, oh, we're going to pull our ads, maybe. Like, come on. It's not like, look, you don't sell pizza cutters. You're not putting a pizza cutter in every box. Saying, hey, kids.
Well, shit, you don't know.
Your friend.
You don't know what their next promotion was going to be.
Well, get the noid away from pizza cutters then.
Remember, this is the company that, admirably, by the way, I absolutely love it, was the whole, like, we'll fill in potholes with Domino's ads. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was amazing. I want them to do more of that kind of stuff. So maybe they would have been like, well, there goes the pizza cutter in every box.
Nick Gage is a special breed of cat. He used the pizza cutter, among other things. But it's all good,
And next week, the next labor is going to be Hoovy.
Fucking Hoovy.
Juventud Guerrera, after all the things that we've been joking about with Juventud over the years.
Yes, it's like... Dude, I'm so excited for Hoovy.
Do you think we're going to get Lion Tamer?
I think...
Lionheart, not Lion Tamer. Lion Tamer's
Chris Jericho stole his mask. And I need Jericho to come out with his mask. Like, I need that to happen.
What do you think the final labor is going to be?
I'm working with Lance Storm, but it could be Big Show. I don't know. They're doing a real good job of keeping you on your toes. So it could be like, hey, and here's, realistically, the way things are going, here's Brock Lesnar.
See, I don't think they're going to bring in anybody like that. I think that's too big.
Didn't Brock Lesnar beat his ass in real life?
Was that the case?
Remember it was SummerSlam and Brock, everybody thought Randy was really hurt. And Jericho was like, what the fuck, man?
Or was it the other way around?
No, you're thinking of Goldberg.
Oh, that's right. Goldberg was involved with that whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember about the Brock thing, I guess. But I'm very curious to see what happens with the Juventud thing. I really want to know what happens afterward, too. This is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this a lot.
Yeah, and God bless Hoobie.
So we're talking about pizza cutters. We're talking about advertisements here. And Domino's might be upset about things, but you know what isn't going to be upset? Our sponsors for this episode, Manscaped. If you head on over to manscaped.com, you can pick up some things that will make a better scenario for you trying to trim your balls down below. You don't got to use a pizza cutter like Nick Gage. You don't want to end up as bloody as they were at the end of that match, right?
That's right. You don't need no homemade marinara sauce all over the bathroom floor. Because then Domino's is going to get really upset.
Yeah, instead, you should be checking out the advanced skin safe technology that they have over Manscaped for their Lawnmower 4.0, their Weed Whacker, all the different products that they have over there. You should be applying that ball deodorant, that crop reviver, the ball toner, everything that's going on with that. And now it's even going worldwide to the point where you just don't have to pick this up in the United States. You can actually get it in Canada, the United Kingdom, all across Europe, Australia, South Africa, Singapore. It is available all across the globe. They're going global for this one, just like how all the tours are happening right now in WWE before everything has to, shrink back up and we go back into another lockdown, essentially. But
you know what's not going to shrink up is your situation down there, because when everything is nice and trimmed, you guys know it's gonna make everything look even longer than usual, because it's not gonna be covered by any hair.
Yeah,
so
you got to
shrivel in there.
So what you should do is you should take advantage of that. You should head on over to manscaped.com and you should use the promo code SMARK, SMARK, because if you do that, you're going to get free shipping and you're going to get 20% off your order. So it helps you out. It helps out Manscaped. It helps out Smark Out Moment, because obviously we have this partnership for reasons, and we want to make sure that we spread the word. We want to make sure that we help you guys out. We want to make sure that your balls are thanking you, and we got to make sure that you don't have any horror stories that can go into the next GCW thing, or any other kind of scenarios that Nick Gage would be pulling out there. That's good for AEW. It's good for the old school ECW, like we were just rebooking the other day, but that's not good for your crotch. So, no pizza cutters. Use the lawnmower. Don't use lighting tubes on your nose. Use the Weed Whacker. And, check out what's going on manscaped.com. Remember that again, that's the promo code SMARK, SMARK. You get your 20% off and your free shipping. And yeah, let's move on here and finish out some talk about some Fight for the Fallen stuff. We didn't get a promo during Fight for the Fallen about how it was like a charity thing or anything.
Yeah, we did.
We did? Did I miss that?
They said several times they were donating to the Safe Alliance that helps out people who are victims of domestic violence and sexual assault.
Oh, okay, I must just. But it was just like Tony Schiavone just said it in the middle of nothing or something.
I believe Excalibur said it during some matches.
Okay, so
and they had run some PR on it during the week, but so yeah, it was out there.
Other things that happened here: Jurassic Express and Christian Cage beat Hannah Holoco and Private Party. Thunder Rose beat Julia Hart. I guess really the only other things that I have down. I don't know if you have anything else, but the injury to Wheeler and the Adam Page situation. Anything else?
Well, Tony, they announced the first dance for 2 weeks from tonight, August 20th, from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. One night, Tony, before SummerSlam, and the building immediately started chanting CM Punk.
Yeah, Darby Allin teased it.
And Darby Allin immediately said, hey, AEW is where you need to be, even if you think you're the best in the world. Amazing.
You think we're getting Darby Allin as the first person for CM Punk, or do you think that was just a promo?
I can see it. I can see them doing that. But I can also see them swerving and going, hey, it's Bryan Danielson's the best in the world. And then Danielson works Darby and Punk works Omega.
Well, because that's part of this whole thing. We're going to come back to that. Let's save that to the end, I guess. The FTR thing. So during that match, I'm like, oh, he got injured because he's just walking around the back.
Yeah.
How did he end up getting cut?
I heard that maybe he hit the turnbuckle and like the metal part cut him open.
Just like a really fluke thing.
Really freak accident, though. I didn't see it.
I couldn't tell. I was just like, I don't know what would have cut him. So hopefully that's not a bad cut.
A lot of blood though.
Yeah, more
He seemed to be doing okay.
more blood than I ever would have imagined that would have happened. So I was very surprised about that. But yeah, let's talk about the Hangman Adam Page stuff. So there's a 10-man tag team elimination match.
Let's talk about the entrances.
Very cool.
Yeah, I liked Hangman's little cowboy car commercial entrance, and the Elite coming out to y'all ready for this, doing the Space Jam thing. Fantastic.
So that was fun. And then we've got the match itself goes down, and Page's group loses. So he's not supposed to be in the title hunt anymore.
At least not for the foreseeable future.
I guess that kind of means no All Out.
I'm thinking right now of the names we know, Christian Cage. But there is the idea that maybe it's Bryan, maybe it's Punk, who knows?
Doesn't that just kind of seem weird, though, if it's Christian? Because the Page thing made perfect sense.
It did, and that's why I still think it's still possible. Like, they can weasel their way into something. Because it is wrestling, after all.
I don't like the idea if it ends up going to Christian. If it's Punk or it's Bryan, I can understand why they would pivot. But if it's just going to be Christian, and that's not a shot against Christian. It's just a matter of, it's more so just like, well, okay, Christian came in. He's one of the legend things. Nobody's going to expect him to win the championship. So it's just a downgrade in that way. Like, Christian should be doing something else on the card, you know?
Hopefully not feuding with the Hardy family office anymore.
I still think that there's just going to be Christian, Jurassic Express, and Best Friends and all in like a 10-man tag or whatever.
That's silly.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I'm really curious what they're going to do with this whole scenario with Hangman.
I think it'll be... I still think he finds his way in, because we have until September 5th, so there's at least another month to build something. But who knows, man? Do we go straight for CM Punk, Kenny Omega? Do we go straight for, hey, what if it's Darby Allin?
Oh, I wouldn't want that to happen either.
But you never know.
Because if it's not Page, I mean, like, it wouldn't make sense for me, in my mind, at the very least, for like Sting to get the title shot.
Why not? Sting versus Omega.
It would draw. That's for sure. But I don't know. The Page thing made perfect sense to me, and it's going to take a while for me to wrap my mind around anything other than Bryan or Punk being a better option.
The beauty about AEW is I don't know, and I don't need to know. I just want to watch the show because the show's actually good.
If you had to say who you think is going to end up fighting Omega,
and it's not Adam,
right?
Bryan Danielson.
That's where I'm kind of leaning. Because I don't think the Punk thing is going to be like that. I think Punk could wrestle at All Out, but I don't think he necessarily will. I think he might just make an appearance.
I think if he's already debuted by... Like, if he debuts at the first dance will decide everything. Because if he debuts on August 20th, then, yeah, he can fight Omega.
Yeah.
But if Bryan debuts on August 20th, then he can fight Omega. And if they both debut, well then fuck, they can do a lot of different things.
Is there any other stuff about Fight for the Fallen?
Tanahashi was in a video package.
Tanahashi, though, right? Yeah.
Jon Moxley says he wants to fight Japanese talents again.
We're getting that for All Out?
Yes. That was reported in The Observer. Or reported by Dave, not in The Observer. Jon Moxley will be facing a New Japan name, or has at least talked to 220 about facing a New Japan name at All Out.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I mean, like, good things are good. Like, this show looks good.
I'm excited for it. Are you more excited for that, or are you more excited for SummerSlam?
I'm excited for the idea that AEW can literally steal all of SummerSlam's thunder 24 hours before the show by going, and we actually got CM Punk. suck it. Like, think about that though. There are people that are just going, well, yeah, I want to be there because if he's coming out, I want to be there. If they get CM Punk, never mind SummerSlam. Like, that's the biggest wrestling story of the weekend.
Yeah. Even though at this point, everybody kind of just assumes that it's happening. Once it actually happens, it's still going to be a big pop.
Yeah, because even though you can assume it, it's still Punk. It still feels like it would have never happened. It's a big deal.
Are you more excited for Punk or Bryan?
Well, Punk, because Bryan, I know, wants to wrestle. Punk, it's one of those things where even though it's my boss reporting it, I'm still like, yeah, but I'll feel a lot more comfortable talking about this when I see it happen.
Yeah, I'm more excited for Punk in the sense that he's got more character, and I'm always more of a character person. Like, obviously, I want to see Bryan's matches more.
Also got more of a character. It'll be interesting to see what Bryan, outside of WWE, but taking the WWE lessons learned, will act like in the ring.
Yeah, because I'm excited way more for Bryan's matches, but I kind of am not going to get as invested in the. I want to do the tour of fighting everybody because I've seen that a million times. It seems.
Although I think when he says it, he means it.
Yeah, I mean, the matches themselves are going to be fantastic. And I definitely trust that more than the Punk matches. But at the same time, I'm kind of more curious what Punk wants to do.
Right, because it's just the idea that he's even entertaining wrestling again. It's pretty crazy.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for the hot tags. As I mentioned
And
before.
I'm good with that. I mean, the hottest tag you can possibly get is CM Punk.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit before. We'll talk about that again when the time comes. And yeah, drop your comments below. Tell us your thoughts on all these things that we're talking about. Pick up that stuff over on Manscaped that we mentioned. And
you got your plugs out of the way, so I'll do mine real quick. Follow Fightful.com. Check out Fightful Select. Doing great work over there. Sean Ross Sapp works his ass off to get scoops that are always sourced, always believable, and everything is very, as much as wrestling can be carny, Sean tries very hard to make sure that all of his stuff is airtight before even mentioning it on Select. So check that out. Check me out everywhere at Dude Felice. I finally made some moves, so maybe there will be like an actual hub and an actual website for all my stuff within the coming week. And I'm excited about that. And yeah, I'll be here whenever Tony's around because we got some movies to watch. We've got Dark Casts to record, so stay tuned to all that. And yeah.
Obviously, follow me at Tony Mango. Keep following everything on Fanboys Anonymous. Keep following everything on Smark Moment. And keep on keeping on. But that's going to do us in for this edition. Thank you for listening to this, everybody. And we will see you next time for whatever that ends up being. I don't exactly know right now. But when it is up, you'll know. You'll subscribe. You follow. You'll see it. But that's it for this one. This has been another Smark Moment. And we're being counted out.